Dude, you're live.
I'm live?
Dude, say something.
I didn't know I was live this whole time, Peter. Wow.
Now you are.
What are you doing? Hello, everybody.
What's up, guys?
Peter's trolling me right now.
It's so funny because your personality, I know, is you have like you border like tiny little percolating anxiety. And if I just go like
At all times.
But
Yeah,
no, you're really good at it now. You know, it's funny. I was watching that video of you last night talking at the Godzilla Tiki event that Mondo put on last night in Burbank for our Scorpion Bowl, Destroy All Monsters Scorpion Bowl. It looked awesome. The event looked super fun. I was definitely jealous to be a 3,000 miles away. But you gave a really nice kind of like what would you like a nice little hey, I'm a host guy.
Little like short and sweet little thank you for coming type of
You had a Hawaiian shirt on.
I did, yeah.
Which was cool. And
and
it was great.
Shirts a lot actually. You didn't know that side of me.
I know. Yeah, that's fun, Hector. He puts
That
on
was
the
fun party Hector.
Work
Yeah.
Hector is a plaid shirt.
Yeah.
Fun Hector.
Fun Hector's Hawaiian shirts all day.
Yeah, you cosplay as like blue collar working guy, and then fun guy.
yeah. Then Fun Hector has a Hawaiian shirt, top button unbuttoned.
Yeah, dude, amazing. Yeah. But yeah, it looked awesome. Did you have fun?
Yeah. So, if you guys don't know, yesterday, as Peter mentioned, we had an amazing celebration of our Godzilla Scorpion Bowl that we put out a couple weeks ago. And yeah, it was a great night. We had some amazing guests show up. We demonstrated lighting the Tiki Bowl on fire, which is like one of the best things that I wanted to like have people experience in like a eventized kind of setting, you know? And it was a lot of fun. It was great seeing people's faces every time. And the bartenders were great. They were awesome. But every time they probably did it like 40 times throughout the night, which was the Godzilla Bowl, which I don't have one here, unfortunately, but you know, you can light his mouth on fire, and they did it. And every single time people gather and they're like, "Ooh,
the basic elements of life, fire, dude.
Fire,
you know, one of them.
Alcohol, fire, drink.
Those are the basic elements: alcohol, fire, and Godzilla, dude.
Yeah, Godzilla Tiki. It was crazy because people, for the most part, the bartenders would like kind of blow out the fire and then hand over the bowl. But some people were very daring. They just grabbed it while it was still on fire and they were drinking out of it. And I was like, oh, I hope someone's hair doesn't singe off.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, I hope they don't make Hector do like some kind of like solo demo and then his eyebrows get burned off.
Yeah. My lack of a beard gets burnt off. Yeah.
Well, dude, we got a fun night tonight. We got an awesome special guest, Mr. Barnaby Legg of Legendary.
Yes, this is a big deal. This is awesome.
Listen, our little show is coming up. You know, we started this show to kind of like have a show and tell and talk to all our fellow geeks out there and about what we're making and what we're bringing out and all that kind of stuff, give sneak peeks, do giveaways, but people are taking notice and they want to hang out with us, so that's really rad. But yeah, before we get started, just want to let you guys know this is a super fun celebration of the Monsterverse. Legendary's Monsterverse is having its 10-year anniversary this year. Mondo has had a great history. We've been there with the Monsterverse from the beginning, doing posters, and super excited that we're doing awesome soft vinyl figures, Godzilla, Kong. You guys know about those great variants we've been putting out. We have an awesome print that we're going to talk about that celebrates the 10 years and an amazing soundtrack for Monarch. All the Monsterverse is being celebrated across Mondo. So without further ado, let's not keep them waiting in the green room. Let's bring in Mr. Barnaby Legg. What's up, dude?
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Good. We have the special effects. $1 million an episode. This is our applause track.
Yep, this is just us clapping ourselves.
I want to see this in IMAX. This looks good.
Yes.
Soon. The trajectory is... 3 years from now, we'll be at the Sphere, outside begging. But good to see you, man. Thanks for coming on.
Oh, pleasure. Thanks for having me, man. It's always if I get to just nerd out and talk about Godzilla with anybody, I always jump at the chance. But I can't think of two finer fellows to talk kaiju with than you guys.
Oh, appreciate it, man. You know, it's funny because play the smallest violin right now as I'm talking, but the weird thing about this job is that you work so hard to make this stuff as great as it can be because you are also a diehard fan, and you would be mortified if something was not as great as it can be as a fan, right? But then it's rare where you just get to sit back and like, let's just geek out about this a little bit. It's hard to find that time.
Yeah, for something that is such a fun part of our lives, I think we can all agree as fans that we also take it incredibly seriously, right?
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, just before we started, I was nerding out over all the incredible figures behind you there, Hector, and it's like you guys backgrounds is like, it's like our imaginations. You're in our brain. You're in the kind of neural pathways that we've all formed growing up on these movies and on these characters.
Well, Hector, wouldn't you say it's like vice versa the same too? Because I feel like we watched those films. Like I watched Godzilla Kong this year, and I just couldn't believe. I felt like that was the crystallization of what I've been waiting for with Monsterverse, to get to the point where we can like seriously explore the whimsical side of Godzilla. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? It's like Adam Wingard talked a little bit about this on the last movie, GXK. The arc of the Monsterverse has been like this kind of microcosmic version of what the Toho movies did, right?
100%.
You go back to 54 and Gojira, which is this super gritty kind of socio-political film with all of these nuclear underpinnings. And with Gareth's film in 2014, we did something kind of similar with that grittiness and that commitment to realism. But by Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire, we're fully into the psychedelic era, dude. We're in that 60s realm where Godzilla's like this sort of hyper real, hyper pink, post-millennium era kind of superhero. Yeah, the same for me. It was one of the great joys of working on this franchise has been we've been able to kind of sort of paint with all the colors that Toho defined over the.
It's funny you mentioned that too, because I'd say like it was kind of a similar trajectory with like Kong too. Like Skull Island was such a good, like just grounded, very like not super serious, but serious enough, right? Where it felt very impactful. I love Skull Island. Like it's one of my favorites.
It's one of my favorite monster movies of all time.
Yeah. And so it's funny, like, because you mentioned Gareth Edwards' movie, that it also had that more grounded, serious, darker take. Yeah. And then when you combine the two, then all of a sudden you have these beautiful colors, in like the Hong Kong, when they're battling in Hong Kong and Godzilla versus Kong, right? And it's like purples and pinks and blues and all this like fluorescent color, and just the fun aspect of it, of just like, this is like a good go hang out, watch them brawl. This is what you came to see. I totally see that trajectory that you're talking about.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, I hope that if there is a through line between all those tones, I mean, firstly, if you're building any franchise, right, you kind of want to find a new tone with every entry, right? You want to give each one its own identity, which is why I think we've been so lucky to work with such a diverse range of filmmakers within the franchise who've all brought something of themselves to it and their own take. I think you're absolutely right with Kong Skull Island. Jordan Brooke Roberts brought this wonderful kind of Apocalypse Now like vibe to that
thing. For real, it really did have those vibes.
Totally. I remember us internally talking about it, like I remember us jokingly referring to it as Viet Cong, right? Because it was kind of that fusion of the Vietnam war film with the Kong mythology. I think hopefully the thing that the fans feel through all the movies, though, as the tone shifts and changes is, however much fun we're having, we always want to try and take the monsters themselves seriously. I think there's a kind of, the thing we took from Toho is that there's always that kind of, a word we use a lot is mythic, right? There is a mythic quality to these characters. You want to have fun with them, but you don't want to make them the joke. You want people to take Godzilla and Kong and these giant titanic characters as seriously as possible.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you also want to see Kong punch Godzilla in the face with a giant mech powered
the mech arm. Yeah. It's
or
funny.
Suko.
Yeah. Or swing Suko around and hit him.
Seriously, a moment of sheer unadulterated brilliance. Like the ability to put that in the film, just I can't tell you how much joy that brought to me. I have two hard-hitting questions for you.
Okay.
The first one is,
hit me with the beast glove. That's what's
just right out the gate. I need to know this. number one, whose idea was it to kill Bryan Cranston that early in 2014?
I'm sure he's gotten that so many times.
I have to put it on film. I'm contractually obligated to ask that question. And then the second question, you don't have to answer that one. The second question, and actually want to know this more, is when I saw the new design for Godzilla where he had the pink dorsal fins, it reminded me so much of the Millennium aesthetic of Godzilla. Was that I have to assume that was like a nod to that.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, firstly, I have to give full credit to Adam Wingard. That was his vision for where he wanted to go with. Adam came to the latest movie, Godzilla X Kong, with a really clear vision for the color palette. I mean, Adam is a genius at so many things, but he's so great on color. He always had a really strong sense of what he wanted that to be. And, you know, very appropriately to what we're here to talk about, given, you know, this is Toy Talk. You know, Hollywood sometimes gets a lot of criticism for, like, you know, that awful word that you used to hear, toyetic, right? That feeling that I think we all as film goers call bullshit when we feel that a movie is like a toy advert, right? That we're all rightfully aware of how that can lead to some pretty crappy movies. At the same time, with this film, and Adam talked about this around the making of the first movie, he was really inspired by the memories he had of walking down the toy aisle when he was a kid. And, you know, he talks about this sort of dopamine rush that a kid would get by those colors that we all saw on those shelves when we were kids. So there was a kind of a weird, like, connectivity to toys in his imagination as he was thinking about the movie. But yeah, that was always a point of reference for him. I don't know, you'd have to ask Adam to the extent to which the Millennium design was directly responsible for that. All I will say is I do remember, you know, some people were questioning, like, that color choice when we unveiled the first teaser, and I was shocked. Like, guys, if you think this is a weird choice, you don't know your Godzilla history. Like,
that's my point.
Iterations of the character.
That's my point.
An homage to the legacy. Yeah.
Yes, I was shocked that anybody who was like a hardcore Godzilla fan called that out. I'm like, you guys, like, they're literally showing you what they know. You know, they're literally doing homages to our favorite stuff. And, you know, being at Legendary for over 10 years now, right, is what I read in your bio.
Yeah, I'm an old timer. I'm one of the old.
I imagine you were involved with Pacific Rim to some degree, yeah?
Yeah, in fact, Pacific Rim was the first project I worked on for Legendary. I mean, very briefly, a little bit of my background. Before I joined Legendary, I was part of a kind of experiential marketing agency that did a lot of work on what we used to call transmedia, right? Where it was like about building the universes around movies. And I worked on movies like Real Steel and Wreck-It Ralph and these different movies that were sort of where it was about trying to blur the lines between what was marketing and what was storytelling. And
love that.
Trying to sort of we used to build these huge, like, mythology Bibles. And I ended up getting hired to do that for Legendary on Pacific Rim. Amazing. And that went so well that kind of led to me just joining the company full time and kind of doing that stuff in-house. But yeah, Pacific Rim was my first project. I mean, what a first thing to...
Right. Talk about a movie with crazy colors too. Right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, you know, that's what Godzilla X Kong started to full circle remind me of. It's like, like, what I loved so much about Pacific Rim 2 was that you could tell that the person making this was picturing, you know, his toys, you know what I mean? And so, like, it's not that you want a movie to be a toy advertisement. You want the movie to be so inspiring that you can't walk down an aisle with those characters and not want to stop and grab one.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah,
exactly.
I think the way we talk about it at Legendary, like something that, you know, Alex Garcia, the amazing producer of all the Monsterverse movies, he and I would talk a lot when we were, like, mapping out the mythology for the films. And something we would say to each other a lot in kind of the creative room would be like, what would a 10-year-old do? What would a 12-year-old do with this?
Dude.
Right. So it's less about building it to sell toys, and it's more about what I like to think of it as is, like, the movies to me at their best feel like you're experiencing what you experienced when you were a kid in your imagination when you were playing with those toys, right? It's like the IMAX version of that. That's what I hope we're able to achieve with these films.
Yeah, and I think
that's how it makes us feel.
Yeah, and you also made, I think all the additions that were made to Kong, even small, like the axe, right? Like giving him like
small,
a
that was
weapon
brilliant,
like that, right? Like it starts to like just make him feel more than just a giant gorilla, right? Because I think that's always been like my hang up with Kong in the past, not this Kong, but in the past, where I'm like, he's cool, but Godzilla's cooler, It's like Godzilla blows. When I was a kid, he blows fire out of his mouth and stuff. He's awesome, but you guys made Kong really badass.
That's
from
that's
Skull
great
Island on.
That's great to hear that you guys feel that way.
To me, I look, I love Godzilla, but to me, Kong is the star of the movies he's in, and First, one question I always wanted to ask, and maybe you'll know the answer to this, is what was it like pitching that, like, oh, we're going to tell the story of Kong who doesn't have the story, he doesn't die falling off the Empire State, or maybe, I hope he doesn't ever die falling. In this universe, I'd like him to just have a nice life.
He's as big as the Empire State Building. In this
right,
I think our Kong would have a hard time climbing the Empire State. It may not, the structure may not support his weight.
Exactly. But that original idea seems like you could be met with major pushback. Like, that's Hollywood royalty. You don't change those things.
Yeah,
like,
I think
were those conversations had?
I mean, listen, there are, firstly, Kong is really a character that, has this storied Hollywood history, right? As you say, I think from the very beginning we felt, listen, I actually love Peter Jackson's King Kong. I think
Me too.
Extraordinary piece of filmmaking.
Yeah, so underrated.
But it's almost like he was making Hamlet, right? It was like it was a reinterpretation of this iconic myth, this Kong myth that was established, through the original 33 movie. I think from the very moment, because you got to remember when we started developing Kong Skull Island, Godzilla really it could have been a one and done for Legendary, right?
100%.
There was a lot of passion here at the company to make this Godzilla movie for the tokusatsu fanboy that exists in all of us here at Legendary. Yeah. But it was really when we made the decision to make Kong that we also had started to talk about this idea of, maybe there's multiple movies here and maybe this could lead to a Godzilla versus Kong film at some point. So we were starting to think about not just how do you do, a new Kong movie. We were starting to think about this idea of a Monsterverse, a universe that can kind of interconnect. And obviously at that time in the industry, right, that was very in vogue. Like we were seeing we were seeing what Marvel was doing, and we were seeing these cross-platform franchises. And we were like, wouldn't it be cool to kind of do what Toho did back in the day? They were the original multiverse, right? They were the original universe of characters.
Destroy all monsters.
Exactly. So we thought, wow, it would be really cool to do that in a modern way with modern filmmakers with sort of the modern technology. But specifically to your question with Kong, I think from the very beginning, we wanted to find a new way to approach the character. My view is, if you're going to try and redo that story with its classic iconography, right? The trip to the island, the Fey Ray in the hand, the climbing of the Empire State Building. For me, you don't do that better than what Jackson did with it, right? He just did it so definitively. For us, we were always like, we're going to have to go in a new direction.
Yeah.
And I think the only pushback was finding the right idea. If you're going to go in a new direction, you've got to come up with something really cool.
Yeah.
And full credit to Jordan, our director, Jordan Roberts. He came with this pitch of fusing together the sort of the language of Apocalypse Now with the language of Miyazaki and all of those cool reference points that he put into that film. So the only pushback I think would have been if we hadn't had a director come to us with an extraordinary idea that we felt was the way to do Kong in 2017. So
that's awesome. And to me, it obviously harkens back to the 62 film. And right. And even the choice to have him with the brown fur, with the tentacle, the squid octopus thing, he's like chewing on in the water is great. A lot of people don't. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I mean, to your point, credit to Toho again, right? I think Toho were really the visionaries that understood that these monsters don't have to be kind of siloed within their own story. They can break free of that and cross over into other worlds. And listen, we all want these monsters to just fundamentally we need them to fight each other.
Yeah.
Right? That's what it's all about. It's about getting these forces to collide. So yeah, if we had to break the mold a little bit to get Kong on the chessboard, so to speak.
Yeah. No, I absolutely loved it. And then, you know, what probably my favorite, so I love Kong Skull Island. It's like up here for me, but I love Godzilla X Kong for the villain. You know, I absolutely love Scar King. I love the lore that was being built out there. I love the scenes where he's it shows you the hierarchy of the Hollow Earth and all of that. To me, that you can't do that enough. Like, I think now, and I'm going to geek out here for a minute and have my little pitch. To me, you know, you have your Avengers already, right? You got Iron Man and Cap, you got Kong and Godzilla. Great. Sometimes they get along, sometimes they don't. Captain America: Civil War. And then, but ultimately we're going to get together and fight the greater evil. And that is the best freaking thing ever. So I hope that going forward, we get years and years and years, another 10 years at least, to explore some of the other antagonists that might pop up that they could face off against.
Yeah. I love that you love that aspect of the last movie. I think
it's the best part, in my opinion.
That means a lot. I mean, it always means the most to me personally when people are really embracing the new stuff we're doing, right?
Yeah.
And having the opportunity to sort of, for the first time, really define, you know, all the other kaiju have their kind of arch enemies, right? Like Godzilla has King Ghidorah and a whole rogues gallery of those. But Kong hasn't really had that. So the opportunity, and again, it was Adam's idea to sort of, let's do kind of the anti-Kong, right?
So
we haven't seen that idea of evil Kong.
That's a good point too. Yeah, I didn't really. You know, Godzilla has that rogues gallery built in. You know, it's kind of like a Batman or a Spider-Man or whatever, right? Where it's like you have a laundry list of amazing villains you could pick from, right? Whereas like, Kong never really had that, obviously, other than in the you know, some of the films he had with Godzilla, right? So building that and making Scar King that kind of first big bad that Kong faces, and then like, you know, I love Shimu's role in that movie as well. It's like this like world building, right, where it's like he captured this more powerful creature and he's controlling it, and it's, you know, it was really cool.
We're at a point, I think audiences are smart enough that they can like enjoy a film with the monster lore happening, whether that means there's a lot of conversation happening or not of human characters.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully, you know, you got little glimpses of this in the last movie. I think also, you know, the fans, the real hardcore Monsterverse fans who consume absolutely everything, right? They watch the movies, they watch the Monarch show on Apple, they read every graphic novel, and they'll look at every viral campaign we do. We've had a lot of fun with the fans over the years because we love their attention to detail and how much they pay attention to everything. So we engage with that. We have a lot of fun with that. I mean, one fun thing on Shimo for the last movie, because we knew we were developing that character like 2 years before that movie dropped, we were able to do fun things. Like we did a big partnership with Activision where we did like a kind of Call of Duty takeover.
Oh yeah, I played it.
We took over the map, and you'll remember it. Probably had a lot of fun in that thing. We were able to. We had this asset. My team, my amazing creative in-house team here, work on a lot of the mythology stuff. One of our designers, Brian Hoffman, had taken the Shimo design, and he had done this fantastic like cave painting version of it. Like, what would Shimo look like as like an ancient petroglyph from thousands of years ago? And we gave that to Activision, and we hid that in like a cave in the game.
Oh, that's amazing.
Like 12 months before the movie came out.
No way.
The fans were like, what is that thing going to be? What's that thing going to be? And the reason why we're able to do that stuff is we have such a smart audience that pay attention to everything. They figure everything out before it comes out. And that's really liberating for us as world builders and as marketers, because we get to like hide those little Easter eggs. So we won't go through all of them now, but every movie, right, you can see those things that pay off in those later movies. And that's part of the fun is playing that game of kind of hide and seek with the audience and putting those little Easter eggs in there that give them a little nod to where we're going next.
Well, it's as a fan, I'm grateful for stuff like that because it's kind of like you're building a game for us to play while we wait for the next big moment, right?
Yeah.
And that's I love watching YouTube now, and more than anything, really, I just my primary entertainment app. And whenever there's like a new video that drops, like, does this mean that so and so is confirmed to the next Godzilla movie? I don't care if it's real or not. I'm gonna watch it and I'm gonna have fun with the speculation. It's so fun. Brandon H just put a comment here. It says Scar King has like a Western villain. It's like a Western villain with his attitude. And I agree. He totally has that good, bad, and the ugly vibe, right?
Yeah, he's a gunslinger for sure. Yeah, absolutely. When he shows, I mean, what I loved about Adam had presented a bunch of concepts, visual design concepts all through the movie, which you can see. There's a great art book, making of book out there where you can see some of the early designs for the Scar King. But I think the thing that I always loved about the design, just my personal response to the character, was how like you think of like an arch nemesis for Kong, right? And you sort of think something that's going to be really tough and bristly and muscular. I love that he went with that weird skinnier design with the longer limbs. There was almost like, I remember saying to him when I first saw it, I was like, oh, it's like you took like this mad orangutan and blended it with Slender Man. It's like this weird, the length.
It's unsettling.
Yeah, really, really unsettling and kind of creepy. And for me, the other thing I love about the Scar King, I always just imagine that, when you see him in that very sort of, it's almost like a Shakespearean, like, Richard III like pose where he's sat on like the throne with his arm up. And I was always like, wow, there's something. I think for the first time we were able to present a monster character within the Monsterverse where you got the sense that like he was kind of insane. There was a sort of like a really unhinged quality to it.
It's great. It's great that you bring up his physical form, because I think it was a great opposite to Kong. Right, Kong is brute strength, courage. He's brave. He's there to do good. And like Scar King right away was like that kind of like Superman Lex Luthor vibe, where like Lex Luthor is not strong on his own, but he's smart and he uses his intelligence to either build machinery or do whatever to defeat Superman. Totally. That was what Scar King kind of did.
And that's why he needs Shimo, right? Yeah, Shimo is Scar King's weapon. Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and even though like Scar King was still pretty formidable as an opponent in the movie, like it was that Shimo that would really set him over the top, and it was his intelligence and manipulation that was a great kind of sense of a great hero, evil villain, classic kind of trope, which was cool.
That one scene where
then you had a spinal cord whip.
That was gonna say, and I love that it wasn't really explained. Just leave it there. We can figure out that he's done some wild stuff. It just I love that. Totally. And there's that one scene where he kind of extends his arm out like this, which and he like so they have to what I mean? That was so creepy, dude. A
lot of character.
Yeah, one of my favorite shots in the movie, it's the first reveal shot where we teased it in the first tease we put out, but there's that shot where he comes shuffling out and he's kind of on all fours a little bit. And when he first stands up, firstly, we see how tall and massive he is, but he does that. Adam had him do that weird thing where he just like turns his head weirdly to the side. And there's just something about that I find really, really unsettling and creepy about the character. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to see that character come to life. As I say, Adam always had such a strong sense of what that character should be. And again, strong color identity, right? Hector, back to what you were talking about as well with the with the wonderful array of the beautiful array of colors behind you. It's like pushing more into those primary colors and that strong palette, like the hot red of the character is something that I always really loved.
Well, there was a trend for a while to everything was like so real, gritty, kind of like grays and beiges and all that. And it worked for the time, but I feel like now we're at a point where people are like, okay, just unleash. Let's go. Let's have fun with this stuff.
Yeah, totally. And you know what? I actually have to say, I give some of the work Marvel have done a lot of credit for that. You look at what James Gunn did with the Guardians movies. You look at what Taika did with Thor Ragnarok. I think there was a kind of shift from, you look at some of those early movies that Legendary was involved in on the financing side, some of the early Nolan movies, right? I mean,
the Dark
Knight trilogy will always be, I think, among the greatest comic book movies ever made, but they were absolutely about a more muted, somber color palette, and that was very in vogue for a while.
And there was a response to the Schumacher stuff too. Think about it.
Yeah,
Pendulum swing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But
I love that it's kind of found like a middle ground too now.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about it is that, you know, in a movie where you're having giant monsters clashing in a city where there's debris flying everywhere, even that simple aspect of having the colors be different, where it's like easy to follow. You know,
it made it way easier.
Red, Kong is, you know, black fur or whatever. Godzilla's got pink spikes now, so you can identify him. Shimu's white. You know, it's like very easy to follow visually as well. Instead of just a bunch of characters in the same color palettes or in the, you know, battling.
To give credit back to you guys as well, and you know the partnership. I love that you guys were using Hollow Earth as an identifier for the colorways, because I think also Hollow Earth is a big link to that sort of psychedelic palette, right? There's something about that idea that, you know, we always imagined the idea of the Hollow Earth was kind of it was the birthplace of all life, right? We would say this thing of, I remember when we were developing the Hollow Earth, I would often say, like, the Hollow Earth shows you that there's a reason why life wasn't found on other planets, because it's supposed to be inside planets. Isn't that kind of a cool idea, that all life is born within these worlds? So that's where we could push those colors. Yeah, I mean, exactly. Look at this thing.
I'm a big UFO geek there, Barnaby. So like, you don't have to preach. You're preaching to the choir with Hollow Earth. But yeah. It's funny. You
always knew, Peter. You know what's going on.
Something's happening.
He's like, it's there. It's all right. It's under the water.
But speaking of those colors, it is something that we're always inspired by when designing any soft vinyl figures. We've made a big effort, a big push this year to introduce other fan communities to the joys of soft vinyl, where one of the big tenets is to appreciate one sculpt through different colorways and maybe even display them like that, because it really gives you a design, a sensibility. It gives you a way to display these figures as art. And the designs are so good that they just work so well in every palette. So yeah, this one was a joy to work on, and really capturing what you're talking about there.
I mean, I'm so curious. I have questions for you guys on the process. Like, when you're working on a project like this, I mean, how do you start? I mean, obviously you've got all of those reference points that we all share, right? But how do you guys start the process when you're working on something like this?
Well, with this one in particular, I've done a lot of the Mondo Godzilla soft vinyl here, and that we've released over the last 3 years. And the process here for me, especially tackling these characters, was how do I, going back to the conversation you were saying we were having about Adam and going through the toy aisle, right? And that inspiration drawing there. I drew the inspiration of the toys that came from Japan and in the 80s, the 90s, the 70s, right? That really retro, simplified, but still really a great silhouette and a great overall aesthetic. Thank you, Peter.
That wasn't me. That was whoever's producing the show.
I think we can all agree.
Probably Irving.
I think
so running it through the lens of that. How do we make this feel like this was a soft vinyl toy that existed 20, 30 years ago, right? And while still feeling premier, like it is a collectible, right?
Yeah, premium.
Yeah, premium, exactly. And it was pushing those proportions, right? Because you guys gave us amazing assets to work off of, right? But and I sculpted Godzilla like for this release, and then one of our other sculptors, Alex Brewer, assisted me on Kong, and we, it was that running it through that lens of like keeping all the landmark, identifiers of the characters, but pushing those proportions to feel like those Japanese toys that we grew up with.
Oh, you just nailed it, dude. Yeah, it's so great. Such beautiful work, Hector.
Barnaby, the truth is we sit around on Fridays is our big like hash out session. It's the last meeting of the day for most of us. And we talk about what we have available, what we can work on. And when this came to us, we're like, oh my God, dude. Like we knew exactly what we wanted to do. we know what's being done out there by other great companies. Like we're in awe of what Prime One does, or what Spiral, outstanding stuff. Obviously, we love X Plus, but we wanted to do the one thing that was missing from our collections. And as you can see, both Hector and I, we love Sofubi. We love all the colors and the glitters and the clears and all that kind of stuff. And in order, in our opinion, to do that right, you need to have an iconic sculpt. The sculpt needs to work like this, gray. Just you have to look at it like this and already want it. And then once that works, and that was what we did, right? Take the original designs from the film and just push where we could to make it feel like a big chunk, fun thing that you can't wait to hold, right? That presence on the shelf, and then be able to work to pay tribute to the legendary Godzilla and Kong by being able to set them alongside all of the legendary figures, no pun intended, that we've loved growing up, the Marusans, the Marmots, the Bull Marks, etc. And that's what's going to happen. When they arrive, they're going right in that shelf with everybody else. So it's making the stuff that we want that was missing from our collections is our...
That's what I nerded out over when I first saw you guys' proposal on this. It's just like, it's the perfect way for us of celebrating the 10 years. And obviously, we're in, there's an even bigger and more impressive anniversary, which is the 70-year thing, which we're also privileged to be a tiny part of in terms of Toho's legacy. But it's you're trying to build, when you work on franchises like this, you're trying to find a way to leave a dent in pop culture, right?
You
want to be embraced. And it's actually when you see things like this, the work that you guys do, that you see it through the lens of pop culture. You guys are so great at like channeling pop culture and finding a way to mesh it all together with the legacy that it came from with this style. It's a great job, and particularly Kong. I mean, listen, seeing the GXK Godzilla in that style is a thrill, but particularly seeing the Kong with something that is so, the beast glove that he's wearing there didn't exist before the 2024 film. Do you know what I mean? And seeing that, but through the lens of that legacy is particularly exciting for me.
And there's so little Kong stuff out there in Sofubi, you really have to
I was just going to point that out, that this is the first official Kong from the Monsterverse to ever come out in this kind of soft vinyl Sofubi take, right? And it was such a great honor to be a part of that and to put that out in the world, right? And to put Mondo's spin onto it and still honor how he looks in the film, but exaggerate the areas that needed, all the fur, we needed to make it big mats of fur, right? So that it could translate well in soft vinyl.
I wanted to highlight this pose here, because this is probably why I love Kong in these films so much. He feels like my grandpa coming home from work, just exhausted. He's over it, man. He's so over it. All he wants to do is chill out, find a nice little, hollow earth spot, hang out with Doug or whoever's in there, have some cool, sparkly fruits or whatever. And then, and then he has to deal with all of this nonsense. That expression, that pose is why I love him so much.
Oh, he's been through some stuff at this point, Kong. Absolutely. Reminds me of that great Indiana Jones quote, right? It's it's not the years, it's the mileage.
Exactly.
Kong's been through a lot. It's he's got a little silver in his beard now, a little on the older side.
It does exactly what I believe you specifically were hoping to achieve is build the world, right? The world feels lived in, feels real. These characters feel real, like they have personalities now specifically. The more they interact with each other, the more I understand who they are, Godzilla and Kong. And I just can't wait for more. I know I don't want to keep you all night. We could do this all night. But what are you excited for going forward? I know there's so much. 10 years of the Monsterverse. What does it feel like? What are we excited for? What's coming up next?
I mean, listen, it's hard for me to, sadly, I can't give you guys any exclusives on where we're going next, but I will say, listen.
You don't want to tease who the new villain is real quick so you can go viral?
Listen, let me just, do you know what? Instead of you guys seeing it in IMAX, let me just tell you everything we've got.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do you know what we'll do, guys? We'll do a private meetup where we get all the figures together and we'll just act out the next movie.
Yes,
yes,
please.
dude. Let's do
all hang out and clap and hit the hongs together and everything
in your office.
I wanted to point out
totally.
too, like, I know if you have to go, but we do the packaging art for these because I have these in hand.
Oh, dude, look at
Because
that.
you know, this is by the amazing Tom Whalen, who did the packaging art for all these figures.
Cool.
And this is our Godzilla. And again, really going into those color palettes that we were talking about, right?
Show it off, dude.
Like the purples and that kind of stuff. So, you know, Tom did a really great job with these.
It's so good.
My only problem with that is that it's not on my desk.
I was gonna say the same thing, man.
Yeah, listen, I am going to bounce, guys. It's been so great talking to you. The one thing I will say, Peter, because I owe you an answer, is like, you know, we've been very clear we're making another movie, which is exciting. You know, we just put out our first image from the set of Monarch season 2 that we're doing with Apple, which we're really excited for. We have Monarch Declassified, this really cool new graphic novel series coming out. There's a lot of stuff in the works. All I will say is, if you're a Monsterverse fan, thank you for the passion that you have given us, and it is enabling us to keep making hopefully cool shit, right? Like,
heck yeah.
For as long as the audience is there, we'll try and keep making cool shit for you all.
Can't wait, dude. Keep it coming. Just run it right into my veins. I'm ready and willing for all of it. So 10 more years at least. Barnaby, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, guys. It's been
hopefully
a pleasure.
We'll do this again next time, and when there's more to talk about. Appreciate you, brother.
Absolutely. And thank you for the amazing collection, guys. All the beautiful work. Like, all of us here at Legendary are just giving you one of these.
Back at you. We're not worthy.
Right,
thank you.
All right, guys. Have a great rest.
Take care. Thank you, Barnaby. Cool. That was awesome.
That was awesome. That was really cool.
That was really rad.
He's fantastic, and that conversation was good, right? It was good.
Yeah, you know what it is like. We've talked about it before. I'm pretty sure we've talked about it on these streams too. But so much of what we do is kind of remote and like virtual. You know, thankfully we get to talk and hang, you know, all the time during the week, and obviously we do so many conventions and all that kind of stuff. But it's awesome to know that when a group like Legendary hands over the reins to their babies, that when you put the work out, they're like, "Oh, dude, you did a good job. You did a good job." And
it's very rewarding to see them geek out over it as well, as much as we did while we were making it, right?
He's the real deal. What?
Want me to unbox it? We can.
Oh, hell yeah! Real quick, I just wanted to show this off.
No, let's talk about the posters too.
Yeah, just real quick. We have so much to talk about, but we need to. I didn't know that. I was going to ask you if that was actually a figure in there, if it was just the box.
No, I have the figure in there.
Hell yeah! Okay, cool. Real quick. So guys, just so you know, before we keep going, we are going to give away tonight this print, the soundtrack, and a Hollow Earth Kong and a Hollow Earth Godzilla to some people in the chat tonight. So all you got to do is hang out until the end, and we'll be, you know, figuring out some cool trivia questions to ask you and all that kind of stuff. So yes, let's talk about this awesome poster. When Legendary came to us initially, they said, "Hey, we want to do something to celebrate the Monsterverse as a whole. Like, we don't really have anything in our catalog that puts all the monsters together. We don't, you know, so are you guys able to do something like that?" We're like, of course. And we knew just the person. We went to our great friend and artist, Danny Haas. So many of you know Danny's been doing the boxes for the Batman, the animated series. He's done the now sold out prints for Back to the Future 2 that has the Jaws 19 scene in it. He's just awesome, man. He's a go-to for us right now. He did that Voltron print, by the way, if you guys missed it. So he put together this great kind of like homage to all of it, and it just kind of shows you how many great monsters. And this is really not even all of it. There's like cool little monsters. Like, he didn't put Doug in there, which is a shame. But the point is, did he put Doug? I don't think he did.
No, Doug didn't make it.
He's getting his own poster. It's going to be like a horizontal
poster. Yeah.
But it's a rad piece, right? Like, it's got the colors. It's got this vintage feel to it too. And it feels modern at the same time.
I just love that it's a celebration of all. Like, it really gives you a good sense of what the Monsterverse has accomplished over the last 10 years, right? It's like you really see this all here. It's like, oh, there's a lot more monsters than I even remembered, and I've seen all the movies, right? But when you put them all together, it's a pretty cool rogues gallery overall of like, you know, villains and heroes and stuff like that. With, you know, you got Mothra right in the middle, King Ghidorah looming over everybody, right? It's really cool.
Yeah, 100%. It's a great piece. I know that so many people who collect Mondo figures have also been collecting prints to kind of like center their figures around. So I think this is a great opportunity for one of those. So it's not just one of the films, you get all the monsters in, and they kind of have a Sofubi feel to it. So really, really rad. So yeah, we got this in the shop right now. They are limited. Let's see here. Look at all the deets. They're $80. Monsterverse poster, screen print, full color. The edition size 140, 24 by 36. So yeah, and they will be shipping in April because, you know, we are going to be printing and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, rad piece. Don't miss it. You can go to the site and see some great details too up close, which I think really should get you excited for it. It's going to be an awesome piece. And then we also available on the site now is the Monarch Legacy of Monsters soundtrack. And this one's really rad because I'm pretty sure, I'm going to check what Cam sent me here from our records department, that this is the first time this has been available on vinyl. You know, it was released digitally last year, but it's never been on vinyl. Composed by Leopold Ross, who did the score for Shogun and Book of Eli. Original artwork by Owen Freeman, who, by the way, dude, have you had a chance to see this up close? Like all the artwork that he did for this, it's so gnarly.
It's crazy. It's I mean, just the splatter on the disc alone makes me just want it in my collection. But then when you open up the record like this and you see this like iconic scene from the show, and it's so good.
Dude, I hope we get to do more of the Monsterverse monsters and soft vinyl, because like this is a rad figure. Obviously, we want to do Shimu one day, and
Shimu, Scar King. You got to do the Mutos, right?
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
You know, King Ghidorah, Rodan. Mothra.
Yeah, everybody. So
everybody.
That's available on the site right now. You know, it's got a spot varnish of the Monsterverse logo too, which is that gloss effect you'll see on the site, which is really cool. If you haven't seen those effects in person, they're awesome. It's a great piece for a record collection, and so you can pick that up now in the shop. And yeah, man. So really rad stuff going on there. But let's unbox that bad boy. I'm gonna give you a little bit of the solo treatment if you don't mind. How do I do that? Solo.
So I think we did mention that some of these, if you order the other colorways, they're shipping to you, so you should be getting them really soon.
Yeah, really soon. Maggie was saying in the chat.
Yeah, and including this one too. So you know, if you order soon, you hopefully can get it before the holidays. Hopefully.
Yeah. Oh yeah, look, Maggie says orders placed in the next few days will ship next week.
There you go. So if you haven't picked up the Hollow Earth Godzilla colorways, which is as of now our last variants that we're doing for Godzilla and Kong, and then hopefully we get to revisit the other, work on the other monsters as you were saying. So yeah, let me bust this guy out. This is one of my favorite colors.
This comment, Josh Frost, Hatter checking Kong's butt right now.
What was that?
Josh says Hatter checking Kong's butt right now. I was wondering if you were going to notice me doing a zoom in on the butt.
I noticed it instantly because it's a good looking butt.
Oh, look, Maggie says all other Godzillas have shipped, but Kong's and both Hollow Earth will ship next week if you order by about noon Central on Friday. Hey, man, that's really good.
That is direct from the source. Who are shipping your stuff directly from the source.
The keeper of the lanes. Thank you, Maggie. That's super freaking helpful, actually. Thank you. All right, look at that. Oh my God. Just quiet while we appreciate it.
You know, we're suckers for turquoises and pinks around here. It's probably my favorite color combination. So you know, part of this is an inspiration from those sort of, you know, fluorescent colors that we're seen in Hollow Earth and seen in throughout the movies. But you know, those who've been following us for a long time and following our Mondo Godzilla soft vinyl journey, you'll notice that we've used these colors before, and it was actually used for the first time in our
Yes.
AKA Miami version of the Godzilla 84 that we did, which was our first ever Godzilla soft vinyl. So we pretty much mimicked it exactly as a little reference to ourselves as well, even so close to doing the little green hit.
Oh yeah, dude.
Green on the chest and on the feet and in throughout. It's kind of hard to see on the camera, but
no, it's look, you can see it perfectly.
Yeah. So we went that far to really, it's like an homage to ourselves, but I just loved this one. It was one of my favorites that we did back, almost 4 years ago. So to revisit it with this, but it's kind of cool to see the size comparison.
How big is it technically? Like, do you know?
These are 10 inches tall.
That's crazy because those other ones are what, 7?
These are, he's a
7.5. Okay.
Yeah.
It looks like it's not telling the whole story when you just say, 7, 5, and 10, because that thing fits in a whole different box.
Yeah. So it was a nice nod to that. But as you know, those who ordered the already sold out colors, these will be coming on the way to you guys soon. This is the Retro Titan that we did.
I love that one.
The first one that we dropped, and it sold out really fast. And as well as the one that's directly inspired by the colors of the movie. And
great.
It's kind of hard to see in the photos, but when you guys get this, you'll notice that there's a really cool it's a really cool dark metallic green.
You can see it
on it.
You can see it when you're holding it to the light, especially in the gills, like there's like this metallic green sheen coming through. Is awesome.
Right. And then on the chest, it's a little brighter.
Who painted these, by the way?
So I painted this one and the Retro Titan, but then Hillary, she painted this one, and she also painted the other versions, the Cherry Blossom and the Re-Energized, the Primal Frost, Kong, and so she took over the reins painting for the last 3 variants that we put out, but I did the first 2.
Hell yeah, that's Hillary is really just crushing it on paints.
Yeah, and I have Kong here too if you want to see it.
Oh yeah. I want to see it.
When we were talking about this, I think you were more excited about having a Kong soft.
I still am, and
even Godzilla.
Yes, I'll as you're doing that, I'll talk a little bit about this because I love Legendary Godzilla in the movies. I don't own any Legendary Godzilla figures. I had the X Plus gigantic one. It's awesome. That box is awesome. Tom Whalen, bro. Yeah, so good. I had the Legendary in an X Plus gigantic. And it's cool. It was too big for my collection, and I ended up selling it. And I never felt the need to get anything else that was out there for that design. Nothing was calling to me. So when we got the chance to do these, I was excited for it. But I was so excited for Kong because I have really the only Kong representation in my whole collection, dude, is the Imperial Kong from when I was a kid that my mom got for me at a Echo Drugs, and so it's like how can there be such little Kong out there, man? There's nothing. And so being able to have a Kong that we made is the best, dude. I knew it was going to be awesome. Look at this, dude. Come on. Hold on, let me give you that solo. Boom. Dude, it's so good. So every colorway makes it feel like a different character almost.
It really does, yeah. And I think that this one we really wanted it to feel as like a set, being kind of the last ones that we were planning for this release for this year, since this is the 5th one. But we really wanted this to feel like a set that would go really well on your shelves with Godzilla, right? So
oh my god,
you would have this colorway in both characters, where the other ones are a little different. There you go.
Thank you.
This is what you all wanted. We can end the stream now with this. But he comes with swappable hands here so that he can hold his axe.
Yes.
Here's his axe here. I can show you guys.
You know what's really cool, by the way? Props. I'm not gonna say props to us in a douchey way, but props to us in a sense because Sofubi doesn't really come with a lot of accessories and swappable parts traditionally. That's not something you get in most Sofubi. So being able to have soft vinyl,
it's not very common.
Yeah,
we did do for these figures. We did a really cool new thing that we're also, if you ordered a Scott Pilgrim soft vinyl, he comes with a lot of swappable parts.
Yeah,
we did something similar where the key is actually a plastic key, so it's really easy just to snap on, and it just stays on. So you can swap out his mech arm like that, and do it with this one here, like this.
I love that. And I love the mech arm, but that's how he's going in my collection.
Yeah.
I need that. I need that right there. Can't freaking wait. And one thing I want to ask the chat, since you guys are here and super engaged, for how many of you guys who actually bought one or more of these legendary figures, how many of you have never bought soft vinyl kaiju figures before? Like maybe you don't have any Japanese stuff in your collection, or maybe you haven't gotten any Mondo stuff before. For how many of you will this be your first? Just put a 1 in the chat if it's your first time. I'm curious because one thing that Hector and I talked about early, really almost 12 months ago, if not a little bit more, was that this was going to be the year that we tried to introduce other fans of other fandoms to soft vinyl. And it's not as easy as that sounds, because if you're not familiar with collecting soft vinyl Sofubi, you look at it and you might say, doesn't really come with anything. Doesn't have a lot of articulation. It doesn't have the realistic paint deco that other toys have, or even other figures that we put out have. And why is that so expensive? Why is that valuable? Blah, 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 right? And I get all those questions. I really do, until you have one in hand. And so I think Scare Glow really helps for some people to understand the joys of soft vinyl there. And I'm wondering if for some people, here we go. John Price, King Panther, Charlie Squared, James Creech. There you go. Quite a few people. And that's awesome, because I can't wait till you guys actually get them in hand, because I want you to experience the fact that these are both premium in their sculpt, paint, deco, and all that, and also super fun to just handle, put on the shelf, move around, not worried that you're going to drop them and they're going to shatter, anything like that. Please, just when you get it, smell that plastic vinyl. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. The new car smell, new vinyl smell. And just get one and just tell me on the chat later, on Facebook or on whenever you get it, let me know if you had that experience, because to me, it's a transformative one for sure.
No, and I think your point about these being like fun to handle it's a good one, because you'll notice all the ones behind me are my soft vinyl collectibles, because as we're talking, I love to just grab them. Hold on to them, and all my 6-scale stuff and all the other stuff that we've done is like over here. I don't touch it; it's just there. I leave it alone. I pose them every now and then. But that's it. I leave them be. But these, it's like it invites to just kind of sit around, and even like you said, the articulation's simple, but it's still, something really fun. And it's really funny because with soft vinyl too, there's a lot of things that people don't really know. Like in some cases, when you have swappable parts, you have to maybe with a hair dryer or something like that heat up your joint very lightly, so that you can pop the vinyl hand out or vinyl weapon or whatever it is head easily. Right?
Are you doing a segue right now?
Am I doing a segue?
Yeah.
No, not really.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about.
I'm just talking to the fact that there are methods of doing it that's more traditional toy, or there's the soft vinyl way where it's like you have to heat up the joint a little bit so that you can plug things in easily.
100%, and that's something that I take for granted. By the way, some cool comments I just wanted to highlight real quick. Topher says, it all comes down to getting one in hand. It's just a game changer. I agree, dude. And I was there once and I didn't understand it until I got it. And look at my collection behind me. I have 1/6. You can see my Star Wars stuff down there. And but the majority of what I collect is soft vinyl. It makes me happy to just be able to have that toy feeling, right? Where you actually play with it. So a little bit... Just to put a quick pause, right? Because I take that for granted. You take it for granted maybe because you've been collecting this stuff for a while. When I first started getting, I remember some Godzilla figures would come disassembled with a tail not connected. And that was very common because, it makes the box a lot smaller, shipping, yada, yada. And one of my favorite Godzilla collector YouTubers, Rich Aso, right? Who does a lot of reviews of X Plus and stuff like that. He had a rule that's like always got to heat it up, use a hair dryer, You want the hole where the tail goes in to be squishy, but the tail itself to be firm. And so once you did that, I always think about that with any kind of part. So we want to mention that because I just happen to have
my favorite, one of my favorite things we did all year, Mr.
Dude,
Fillet.
Look at this real quick, by the way.
Oh yeah, we can debut the box here for the first time.
Can we? I didn't know if we could.
Yeah, well, okay. Whatever.
Look at this. This is how he. Dude, this thing is so big. It's so big, dude. This is the box for Ray Fillet. I already unpacked him, so I couldn't wait. I'm sorry, but he's, as you can see, we broke the form factor with the card backs on the turtles. So we still have the design, the layout. There's still a peg hole here if you're psychotic and want to try. You're insane if you do, but you can.
I have it. That's how I have mine.
Do you really have it like that hanging?
Yeah.
This one?
Well, not yet because I don't have the box yet, but I have all the other turtles hanging.
I would advise you be very precarious when you do, because I just feel like the weight on this is too much for that. But anyway, you do what you want to do. The point is, this box is insane, dude. It looks so good. It's got the great Aaron Connolly art all over it, right? An amazing piece, again, designed by the amazing, legendary James Groman himself, right? Sculpted by Alex Brewer, right? Amazing paint by you, my friend.
Thank you.
And Aaron Connolly doing the package art and Jordan Christensen doing the packaging design. It's a team effort, but let's look at this hunk, dude. This guy is something else.
Honestly, so Peter, I think it's your first time like holding Ray Fillet in hand, right?
Yes.
Like, is it everything you wanted it to be?
Remember when we first started talking about this line? We said we're gonna do the 4 turtles and then who?
Yeah.
And then we said we're gonna do
Mondo Gecko was obvious, right?
Mondo Gecko, obvious.
We went back and forth with do we do a villain or do we stick to like a fan favorite? We had conversations with friends about it.
Yeah.
And Ray Fillet was easily became the top choice, and it was my favorite as a kid.
Yes, me too.
Yes, for the good guy.
Yeah. You and I had the conversation, which usually when we're discussing things, like we have like our own favorites, and we're like, okay, yeah, I can see that, blah, 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 blah. But this one, you and I were like, Ray Fillet. And I was so happy that was your favorite thing. Like, I don't want to wait for this guy. I want this guy to come soon. Holding this in hand, dude, it's an experience, dude. People who had this figure as a kid, you're not ready, bro. You think you're ready for this line, dude? You think Mondo Gecko is a story about what this line's gonna be? He's awesome. But wait till you get this guy in hand. This thing is unreal, dude. It feels like the original figure in the best ways, but it's unbelievable how big he is. The thickness of the what do you call these? Anatomic
fins, I guess. Because
his ray fins,
his wings. I don't know.
Ray wings. Yeah, this thing just feels like I want to eat. It's so good. And then the paint app. So anyway, he has swappable hands too, right? And we just wanted to make sure people, as these start to ship out, and I think they're shipping soon, right?
Maggie just said around late January, early February.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Maggie. You got to come and do these streams with us every time. This is
awesome.
Awesome.
Right? What are you? Yeah,
so
Maggie
awesome.
Should come on the show.
Yeah, just be here and just let us know. Just chime in. Yep. But the point is, when these start arriving, we just want to let you guys know that they'll probably be very firm, like removing the hands from the wrists. Right? You can hear that. Do you hear it?
Yep.
So it'll be very, very firm. So the first time you do it, you might want to use a blow dryer, or you could put them in some hot water, but it's going to be a lot of hot water. I think blow dryer is probably easier to get it out the first time to swap the parts. But once you do, they go in and out pretty easily, so no big deal. And we have swappable hands. One hand that holds the ray gun here. Ray gun.
Yeah, it's like
do they call it that? That's funny.
I think it has I forgot the actual name off the top of my head.
Yeah, so this hand comes off, the little watch comes off, and you slide them back in. So I just want to call that out now. Whoever's going to do a great job of do a screenshot and then post it in Facebook later where it says, "Remember, kids, heat up the wrists." This is this is my call out to you guys, so you guys don't worry about that. But
do you have his little buddies handy?
I do, right here, bro. And speaking of butts.
Speaking of butts, right?
I'm gonna give myself the
butt
solo
of the year.
layout.
I think Juggernaut. That should be at the end of the year conversation. Butt of the year.
Butt of the year.
Juggernaut or Scarfish.
Bro. He is caked up, cheeked up, and look at that, just like little.
He's cheeked up. No,
it's great. So good, dude. This thing is also, by the way, a great way to understand the future of this line, because the little buddies. I mean, if you remember, this guy was like the size of my pinky nail, you know, and now he's a full-fledged figure with a fully like dimensional paint app.
Oh yeah, painting him was so much fun. Like
instantly,
I instantly knew what the gradation was going to be. I had it all mapped out in my head right away. He comes with a little stand.
Yeah, the little stand's amazing, by the way.
Yeah,
he stands perfectly. And then we got your boy. Fish sticks, dude. This is like a little Sofubi figure by himself, dude.
Yeah. All roto vinyl.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. It's super shiny and metallic. It definitely feels like a gold fish, and he's almost as big, if my memory's right, as the original Ray Fillet figure from Playmates.
Yeah, I mean Ray Fillet was maybe what were they, like maybe 4 or 5 inches tall?
Yeah,
I can't remember.
Yeah,
he's pretty big. He's around like 4 inches. No, maybe 3.5.
He's almost as tall as a reaction figure. So he's like almost 4 inches. So he's probably just a little shorter, but it's close. And that's a way to understand the size up, the plus up of these guys. So yeah, Ray Fillet, dude. If you guys, is he still available? Did they sell out?
Yeah. We still have a few. So you guys, if you missed out,
do not miss this one. Even if you didn't get a single turtle. Yeah, I'm telling you this. Look. No, my boss doesn't want me to tell you this. The heads of Funko don't want me to tell you this. If you can skip every turtle, you get Ray Fillet. You hear me? Do not screw around. You get this figure. You get this.
Well, next year we've already announced some of the villains that were, you know, Baxter Stockman, Super Shredder, right? We just had at Designer Con, showed him up for the first time. So we have some more. Next year will be the villain year for the turtle line. So if you were missing out on the villains, we have some heavy hitters set up for next year.
And I think you and me are pretty confident that as these start to arrive, people are going to get what we're saying. And that's why we decided to keep the turtles evergreen, because people will always be able to go back and get the turtles. But that's not going to be the case for the buddies and the villains. So just keep that in mind, you guys. Those guys.
And then we will have, you know, like some variants of the turtles coming out throughout the year. Obviously, we'll keep supporting the turtles as well. But villains next year.
Here's a cool question.
Oh, what was that?
Here's a cool question. Interesting question. So, okay, what did we do? What we're supposed to do?
I think so. Yeah, we're celebrating this capsule launch with Legendary. They were so gracious enough to support us in this way. All the items are available still.
Mondoshop.com.
Go check it out. On Mondoshop.com. Barnaby hung out with us for a good half hour. It was awesome.
It was super cool. Yeah. Some good exclusive information. Not really. But let's do some giveaways, because we got the print, we got the figures, and we got the soundtrack. So all right, let's do one each,
or are we giving away a capsule?
What do you want to do?
I think it'd be great to give away a capsule.
For real? You want to do like that?
Two or three capsules.
All right, let's give away some gift cards first then, because Jesse said we could give away 2 gift cards too.
Okay.
All right, this is what I'm going to do. I am going to pull up Monsterverse trivia on google.com. All right, let's see if I get how this goes. From here we go. All right, good. Let's see. All right, here, let's do an easy one. Let's do an easy one. Give me the name. I don't know if you probably know this. Give me the name of the kaiju monster, Titan, right? That was teased briefly in 2014 Godzilla in I forget Bryan Cranston's character's name, in his home. It's quick.
Oh wow.
Do you know it? Because it was the most exciting thing when I watched that movie the first time. And there's already an answer in the chat. Joseph Rinaldi. Where you at? Lost your dang thing. Hold on. Joseph Rinaldi got it.
Oh,
my
it was
God,
Mothra?
it was Mothra. Yeah.
Yeah, don't remember that.
So it was like, if you go back and watch that movie, when they're going through like his stuff and all that, there's like these little diagrams like everywhere of the big moth and of Mothra. So it was really, really cool.
Oh,
Yeah. Congrats, Joseph Rinaldi. You can email support@mondoshop.com and let them know that you just got a $50 gift card to mondoshop.com so you can get something good. All right. Cool. That was a good one. All right. That's one. All right. Let's do another gift card, another trivia. Do you have anything offhand? I can keep looking.
No, not. Oh, man. I should have prepared. I always do this.
We never prepare. That's our secret.
Yep. Off the cuff.
All right. Real quick, Michael Dougherty directed Godzilla King of the Monsters.
He did.
Okay. Name the titular character. Well, that doesn't make sense. Name the main character that everybody loves from Trick or Treat, his other film. Boom. Easy. That one's an easy one. So that's not even a Monsterverse question. That's just boom. John R. Price.
John R. Price got Sam. Yep.
Those are easy ones, you guys. We're just warming it up. Clap it up. John R. Price, $50 gift card at mondoshop.com. Just email support@mondoshop.com. You got it, sir. Thank you. By the way, 102 people watching at the same time, even after Barnaby left. That's freaking awesome. Can you guys make sure you subscribe? You know, our channel's been growing, like for real. This channel's been growing for real. Like we're almost at, oh crap, I was gonna say we're almost at 5,000, but we're almost at 6,000 subscribers.
Oh, right on.
Yeah. So if you guys haven't,
just a couple knuckleheads just talking toys is growing.
Yeah, this channel is not spam. We're not gonna put a bunch of crap on there. Just so please, if you can, just hit like on the video and subscribe. Would be awesome. It helps to grow the channel and all that good stuff. Yeah. All right. So
let's give away 2 capsules. I think 2 lucky people should walk away with the entire experience.
Holy crap, dude! For real?
Yeah, but just
all right.
Disclaimer: all the items will ship separately. They're not shipping in one box or something. You'll get the figures, you'll get the posters, the record in various times. So don't hate me later for doing.
In order to do that, we need a 1 in the chat from everybody indicating that they understand what he just said. Meaning. Put a 1 in the chat if you understand that if you are chosen or if you win one of 2 capsules, which by the way, you're gonna have to tell Jesse we're giving away 2 now. If you are chosen, sorry Jesse, that you are gonna get all the stuff that we showed off from the capsule launch. That means the Monsterverse print. That means the Monarch soundtrack, and that means a Godzilla X Kong Hollow Earth variant of Godzilla and Kong. Okay, you're gonna get all of that, but it's gonna ship separately, so no freaking out later. Okay, cool. All right, so all right, we need a good question, dude. We need a good question.
We need 2 good questions here.
Let me see. Okay.
You got one? I'll look up the next. I'll find another one.
I'm worried that mine's too easy, even though okay, 1 second. Let me just look real quick.
No, you're good. You go with the easy one.
Okay. All right. I know a good one. I need to make sure I know the answer real quick. I gotta confirm. If I get this wrong, I'll be very embarrassed.
Okay, I have one for now.
Okay, go. Because I'm never gonna know this one.
This one's pretty easy, I think. But maybe if you're not a Godzilla fan, you wouldn't know. But even in the Monsterverse movies, and this is in regard to King of the Monsters, even in the Monsterverse movie, this character was also called something else. What is King Ghidorah's alternate name?
Ooh, that's a good one, dude. That's not too hard, but it's hard enough.
It's hard enough. Like if you don't know Godzilla lore and
boom, here it comes.
Right away. Who was it?
Here it comes. Eric Munoz.
Yep.
Eric Munoz. The fast finger, sir. Monster Zero. Holy crap. As the lights on my collection go out, indicating that we are almost done. Eric Munoz, congratulations. Email support@mondoshop.com. Let them know you won a complete Monsterverse capsule, indicating the screen print by Danny Haas, the Monarch soundtrack, and one of each Godzilla and Kong Hollow Earth variants. Hell yeah, that's awesome. Congratulations.
Congrats. All right,
No,
let's give away one more.
Wait, this Video Power Gaming is saying that he got it first? Wait a second. I don't think so, dude. No, I see it right here on my alternate YouTube chat. Eric Munoz got it, then Tony Lopez, he put Monster X, so that's not even right. Johnny Cock would have been second, and then Video Power Gaming. You better speed up those fingers, Video Power Gaming, if you want to be in contention. All right, so one more, and then we're out. And then before we do this, someone asked earlier in the chat, I didn't forget, is this our last Toy Talk of the year? Or
that's a good question.
Are we going to have one more to talk about a very, very special release later this month?
A little bee came around
and
told me that we would be having one more Toy Talk.
It could be
very buzzworthy news.
Oh, something with honey. Yeah, we're gonna have another.
Here's something buzzing around my room.
Yeah, something with bees. Next week we're gonna have one more Toy Talk for the year. And then we're also going to be
it'll be a big one too. It's going to be we're going to have more of the team here. We're going to talk about some of our favorite releases for the year, but there's one particular release which will cap off the year for us coming up very soon.
Yeah, exactly. So by the way, all good Video Power Gaming. I'm just trolling you and teasing you. It's all good. That's why I have both of these screens open, because I used to just pick the winner from my StreamYard, and that is not the same order as what everybody sees in YouTube. So I want to make sure I'm fair. Anyway, so yes, we're going to have one more Toy Talk next week. Like Hector said, we're going to have like a bunch more of the Mondo gang joining us. And we are going to have, let me just say this. Wait until you see the pictures that Raul has taken of Buzz Off, bro.
Well, now you gave it away.
Come on, stop it. You guys aren't ready.
Beating around the bush.
Yeah, you were beating around the bush. You guys aren't ready. These pictures are so good. I'm considering getting a canvas print of one of them for our bedroom right over the bed. All right,
good. Figure's amazing.
The figure's incredible. That's no debate.
Keep
no
an
debate.
eye out
it's just
for some more news coming real soon.
Exactly. There's going to be something awesome next week. All right, so stay tuned for that. And then we're also going to be on Toying Around next Thursday. Remember, we promised that.
Yes.
Don't try and back out of it now. So make sure. Okay. Exactly. I don't.
No, that'll be fun.
Yeah, that'll be good. Okay, last one. Mm-hmm. One of the actors in this film franchise, the great O'Shea Jackson, right? You know what I'm talking about? O'Shea Jackson Jr.? You know who that is? Oh, then you're not going to know. This will be fun for you too. Mm. Who is O'Shea Jackson Jr.'s famous father? Boom! Brian Carr! Ice Cube, baby!
Right away!
Look how fast that was fast, man. I just want to hear those keys clicking and clacking like Brian Carr, congratulations. You won the entire capsule. You're getting Hollow Earth Godzilla, Hollow Earth Kong, the Monarch soundtrack, and the Danny Haas screen print. A whole dang amazing capsule that Hector's going to get in trouble for giving two away. So I hope you love it, because it's going to come at a price. Anyway, yes, he got it before I even asked. Exactly. That's how in tune he was. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining us. Please check out mondoshop.com. You heard it from Maggie. There is you can still get stuff for yourself before the holidays, and you can still get some great stuff for your friends and families for the holidays. Don't miss out. And if you've just been enabled tonight, you should feel enabled. We had an awesome stream. We had Barnaby from Legendary, so gracious to join us. That was awesome. If you want to pick something up, it's going to come really, really soon. You don't have to sit around and wait like everybody else did. You get it now. All right, you guys. Anything else, Hector, before we go?
No, just next week we're gonna have the last one of the year, and we'll have some reveals. We'll have the whole team talking here. We'll have some teases for 2025, some giveaways. So, thanks everybody.
All right, you guys, thank you so much. We're going to end the stream. It takes about 7 seconds to end it. So start saying bye now. All right, later, dudes.
Bye.